together seems to be a word that comes into many conversations these days. Speaking to many people during the pandemic, they seem to be struggling with the exact same thing. This particular topic is very important to me because this is something that I have struggled with for a greater part of my life. My name is Leletu, and welcome to yet another conversation. Today, I'm very happy to say I've got a very special guest who happens to be a very good friend of mine, Nomtha. Nomtha is the person that I say you go to when you need to be objective, the person that you go to when you need to dance or learn about a new song. She's also the 5 a.m. What is that word? What do we call you?
The
chairperson of our 5 a.m. gang. But most importantly, she's the person that always tells me that blackness does not equate lateness. And I must say, Nomtha, I've appreciated this concept about you because you've always been on time and you've always just said 2 minutes and I'm gone. So why is this such a big thing to you?
To me, it's about respect. It's respecting each other's time because if I'm going to wait for you for 2 more minutes, that time you won't give it back to me. And also, it's about teaching other people to respect your time because they will never give it back to you. So I believe being prompt and being on time. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I've never been late, but I strive to be always on time. I always give myself 30 minutes or like I'll tell myself that I need to be there 30 minutes before the time.
Wow.
That's what I've always told myself.
Yes.
So that I am there on time. There's no mistake. I'm there on time. So it's more about respect.
Yes. And I always say because those times I get, if it's like 5:05 and I'm still at home, I'm like so scared. I'm like they're gonna leave me. But I've really appreciated that about you, and I just feel like I was saying, maybe it's like even a topic that we can talk about because, like you're saying, you're always so good with time.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know you, could you just tell us a bit about who you are and where you're from, and yeah.
Okay, my name is Nomtha and my surname is Macala, and I was born in Umtata, and I grew up in Umtata. My first few years of my life I was in Umtata, then I moved to Bizana and lived with my grandparents, and I moved back to Umtata with my mom, and yes, I did my higher education in Durban, and then from Durban, Cape Town, Cape Town, Pretoria, and Pretoria back to Cape Town.
Yes.
I love the mother city, so I think now I'm fine. I'm in Cape Town now for good. Yes, and I'm a single mom to a boy. And his name is Kazi, and he's going to be a teenager this year. Yes, and I work in the property industry. And yes, in a nutshell, that's who I am.
You've traveled quite even in the provinces, you seem
Yes,
to
I've been around the provinces. I think I've done most of them except Mpumalanga and Limpopo. I hope my husband is there somewhere because
you are ready to travel the world.
Yes, I'm ready to travel.
Yes, and before I get into this topic of self-awareness, I actually was going to say, I was going to ask you because I feel like the way that we met is probably the most interesting out of actually all of my friendships and people that I've met. So people always ask us, how did you meet? So how did we meet?
Okay, we met at the train station, and this is how we met. I was writing my exams, and my son at that time was 5 years, and I didn't have anyone to take him to school on that day because my exam was very early, so there was no way I could leave him at home or had someone to take him. And I spoke to this security lady at this train station. I'm like, I have this problem. I don't have anyone to take my son to school. And she was like, no, there's this lady who always sits there. She seems like a nice person. Ask her, and she's going that direction. I was like, I'm so scared, but yeah, I didn't have any other choice. So I went and asked you, and I'm like, my name is Nomtha. You don't know me. Maybe you probably see me at the station, but I have a big ass.
Just a big one.
Just a big ask. I need someone to take my son to school. Like, you didn't hesitate, you didn't ask why or anything. You just said yes. And I trusted you with my son that this lady will actually take this child to school and bring
And
her
come
back.
back.
Yes. So that's how we met. Yes. Yeah.
And I'm always like I always say to you, if we could be friends through getting your son, then clearly there's no turning back from
There's
there.
no turning back. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this, like I said, even at the beginning of this, that self-aware seems to be the buzzword. So many people speak about becoming self-aware or self-aware that. So if someone would ask you, what is self-awareness according to you, and what parts of it play in part of being self-aware?
Okay. Self-awareness to me is about self-love and having a good relationship with yourself and setting boundaries with people around you and giving yourself that time, because we always say 24 hours is not enough. I only have time to do me or do things, and also protecting your energy.
Sure.
Yeah. And also teaching people how to treat you, which has always been a challenge to me. So to me, is self-awareness is more like having that good relationship with yourself.
Yes.
With who are you? Who is Nomtha outside of everything else? Yes. Also, self-love to me, it's like, it doesn't mean that I won't have days where I don't love myself. There will be days where I feel like I don't like what I did. I don't like how I feel today.
Yes.
But what is important is that you must have tools to maneuver those situations.
Yes.
Meaning that God must come first in your life. You must always consult. You must always make sure the people that you surround yourself with, it's people that you're aligned with.
Sure.
Yeah. So yes, that's self-awareness with me. It's more about good relationship with yourself.
Sure. I feel like as you were speaking, I'm just like, you said so much meat in just that answer. So you've said things like such as loving yourself, things such as setting boundaries. So do you think that which one of these was probably the easiest for you to start with, if there's such a word?
I think the easiest for me was giving myself time outside of friends, outside of family, and putting myself first and be my and be the priority in my life, because I needed to fill that cup. My cup has always been empty, and I always put other people first before me, which I would be constantly not happy, because certain things in my life I'm not able to cover because I'm busy taking care of that and that and that and that, and then forgot about myself. So I think the time.
Yes. And also, what I love about what you're saying, I love it because when, like, in this day and age, when we speak about self-awareness, we speak about it as if it's just one aspect of your life. We speak about it like it's sitting by the beach, discovering and just reading. But I love that you've put so many things together that it takes more than one thing. And I think for me, that's why I said in my life, that's what that miss was, because people just keep saying, be self-aware, and I'm just like, what is self-awareness, and what does that look like? So that really, like, it sits with me, and I'm just like, I wish so many people, especially earlier in their lives, that they would know that. And as you've said, that this is a concept for you. So what has this journey to self-awareness been like for you, and what are sort of some struggles that you came across along the way?
Okay. First of all was finding out what is it that I need to do with my life. And when I realized what I needed to do with my life, it's going to offend other people, meaning friends, meaning that I have to cut a few people in my life which didn't contribute positively in my life. I don't want to blame other people. I'm an adult. I make my own decisions, and I'm not saying that because I was around so and so that person didn't force me, but I felt like I was so consumed with their lives and forgot about myself.
Sure.
Then I would end up doing things that they want to do. Then I would just go with the flow. So with me, it was more like the journey was about taking myself away from those things that were not making me happy, that were not making me to love myself more. So then I had to lose a lot of friends. I had to tell some friends, I had to tell them that I just need that space, and they didn't understand. They thought they took it personal. But that was the most challenging part, is losing friends. Not losing, but just taking a pause and understanding my position, where I want to be myself as Nomtha in this situation. Yeah, I had to cut a lot of people so that I'm able to focus on myself.
Sure, and I feel like I'm in this like masterclass, because as you're saying, I think there's something big here that you've said, and it's just so amazing. So you've said that the first piece, right, is that self-love. So you've got to love yourself, which is important. And then that piece which you mentioned then was just that God. So basically looking to God first, right, and finding that link. And then you even said something even more interesting. I had to like hold, be like, let me not forget. Just that part about not living other people's lives. And I just want us to talk a bit about that. What does living other people's lives look like? And what was, and it's going to go into the next question. Let's just first talk about what does living in other people's lives look like.
Living other people's lives, if I refer to how I was, it was more like because of my personality, people always wanted to be around me. Sometimes I don't feel like going to Leletu. I don't want to go to her, but because Leletu wants me there, and I want to please Leletu. I want her to feel good because she wants me there. And maybe I had planned that, okay, I'm going to do laundry and do this. I had my plans, and then all my plans will be derailed because now Leletu's life needs me.
Sure.
To make Leletu happy. And meaning that if I leave that laundry for Leletu, I might end up not doing it the whole weekend, and then Monday comes, my life is in shambles because I didn't give myself time to sort out my life. I focused on her life, and then I found, like, especially on Mondays, it was mostly like weekends where I would feel like, actually, I was in so-and-so's life the whole weekend.
Sure.
I didn't get to be at my home, make sure that the house is cleaned. I've done this for myself, or did whatever, or find out what is it that I like this outside of
Someone else's
life. Yes. So I felt like I've lived in other people's lives for a long time because of my personality, because I'm the life of the party. Everyone wants everyone wants to be around me, and you realize, sure, it's the weekend is gone. I didn't get to do Nomtha at all. So yes, that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's very helpful. And I guess this doesn't just come up, right? So what are things that you think contributed to you, like you're saying, you had to set boundaries, which means then the boundaries weren't like really there, and then you needed to learn to love yourself and not to live in other people's lives. What do you think has happened before in your life that contributed for you to feel like you've got to be someone else and ultimately not be self-aware? So you are others aware, but not self-aware.
I think growing up, they say we all born in circumstances, and those things would affect and influence your decisions later in life. It's important that you sit and analyze what is it that I'm not doing right. And growing up, my mom has always been that humble person, kind. She lived that life where she put other people first. And I've always been told, Nomtha, you need to put other people first. Other people comes first before anything else. Then you must put yourself. So if there's a guest, that guest is the most important thing in your life. If someone comes, so I've always been taught it's more like in our culture you must be kind to other people, which is not a bad thing, but when you overextend yourself to please other people. So that was the problem. I've been raised to actually make sure other people are happy before myself. So I took it to my adulthood, and then I realized later I'm not happy. Why am I sacrificing myself? I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I like because I'm busy with other people's lives. So yes, that's what contributed. My mom was like, not that I don't want to say she was bad. Like she was trying to raise.
She's doing her best.
Yes, raise a good woman. Being a good woman is especially that you are a good person. You need to be a good person.
Yes.
You need to be that good person. Even if you don't like to do certain things, you have to do it because you need to be kind. You need to be this kind of person. If you say no, that's being unkind. Yeah, so that's what contributed to that. So it's a journey now. I'm not saying I'm over it, but now at least it's something that I'm aware of. Then I'm doing something about it. Yeah,
and that's what makes us people, right? Because then we are on a journey. But also, what you're saying about your mom, I think it is a lot in the Black culture because we're taught to just. You don't question. So, you just say yes. You know, so we taught to submit, we taught to just listen. You don't question my decisions, which at that point is a very good thing. But then, like you're saying, you get to a point in your life where you're like, how do I then take bits of this thing and become more myself and to set those boundaries? So it is in our culture, and it's something that as people of color we have to get out of, we have to step out of, because now the world is different and you don't just say yes when people speak. So so you say that your changes actually, like many people, it happened during lockdown. So what happened during lockdown that you realized this within yourself and then you decided to make the change?
Okay. During lockdown, like everyone, you were forced to just face yourself.
Yes.
You had nowhere to go, and the first phase where we were cooking and eating and brewing, and then that phase passed, and then like, okay, you've gained weight now, you are not happy with yourself. So lockdown forced me to face myself and think about a lot of things. I had time, like I had all the time to think about my life and all that. So lockdown forced to put myself to face myself and my shortcomings and everything, which is
So you're saying that because obviously it was just you and your son, you just like most people, you had to sort of think about what your life has been like. Is that what happened? And was there a trigger? Did something happen that made you realize it was just the time that you just spent?
As I said, like lockdown forced me to face myself. There's certain things I did not like about myself. There's certain things I did that I didn't like with myself, where I felt like they were not aligned with my beliefs or how I want to be as a person and who I want to be. And then I was writing a lot down, and I was like, okay, this is my issue, or what can I do to fix this problem? And one of my issues that I've always had an issue with was my weight. And growing up, I've always thought I was the biggest thing ever because I've always been told, oh, I was like, yeah, babe. So
Yes.
it's like a compliment, but no, you try that it's like a compliment, but that thing sticks and you grow with it because you're always thinking you're this fat child. And so I've always had a bad relationship with food, and I've always been that person conscious. So I want to exercise, I'm trying, but I was not strict. So with lockdown, when Cyril Ramaphosa opened for people to exercise, that's when I started waking up at 5, and I was on the road ever since.
Yes.
I've never missed a day. It's only weekends where I rest. So, and I saw the changes in my life, and I sort of connected as well with God, and I read my Bible. I had the time to do all these things I thought I didn't have time for. I had no excuse, and yeah. So with lockdown, I managed to do a lot with my life. I'm very happy. I'm in a happy space. Yeah.
And I must say, I've seen a very big change in you, like you're saying that the Nomtha before lockdown, you are very free, and Mrs. G always said when we're walking in the mornings how she also sees a different Nomtha. So having moved from that, what aspects of yourself have you enjoyed that you now are aware of, and the self-awareness? So what have you just enjoyed about yourself?
Actually, I didn't know that I love sports. Like I'm trying to get to tennis. I love being active. Give me anything. I was saying, guys, let's do tennis, and I'm like, let's do netball, let's hike. That's the most thing I didn't know. But I didn't know, like in my life in general, because I've always been this big child, and I was told you can't run because you're fat, you can't do this.
Sure.
So only now I've realized I can actually do all these things, and I'm enjoying them. And I've wasted so many years. I could have done this in my early ages, but yeah. So yeah, that's one of the things that I enjoy.
And what has, having put these boundaries in place, what have you enjoyed about friendships and relationships, knowing that you've set the boundaries and you're in relationships according to Nomtha's terms?
Okay, according to my terms, now I used to care a lot about other people.
So it's fly. we are
I'm not scared to start new relationships. I've made new friends from the gym, made new friends, old friends that I played netball with, and also I used to care about friends' opinions. Like I would tell them, oh, you are allowed to have your opinion, but
and you say it like that.
Yeah, that's your opinion, entitled to. Yeah, allowed to. Yeah.
So you would say it's basically having that freedom.
Yes,
in
I know who I am, and I do other opinions. If it's a good opinion and it's something that I can learn from, kudos. I'll do something about it. But if it's something that I feel like, okay, it's not aligned, I don't. It says nothing to me, then I don't care. Like I don't know if it's a good thing, but I just.
And I don't think it's you don't care. I think it's just because even as you're speaking, I'm just like that. Also, probably for me, was one of the biggest changes. Just to have freedom to say no.
Yeah.
You know, freedom to say, actually, I cannot come right now because I'm busy with this. Or freedom to just be like, you know what? I just want to stay home. It's fine if you all want to go. I just want to stay home. I want to read my book. I want to enjoy my life. So I think it's those freedoms, and I think often, like you're saying, if you're taught to always give and give and give, you feel guilty, right? Saying no, but actually saying no is loving yourself, and loving someone else.
Absolutely.
Because you're not getting that I'm just dragging myself and
Yes,
going.
absolutely.
So if you could talk to someone right now, because I always say like this, there's somehow this gap between I was here before and now I'm here, I'm thriving now, So if you could talk to someone that's sort of in the trenches, someone that's struggling with this concept of finding themselves or anything about self-awareness, what would you say to them, or what encouragement can you offer?
Always say that don't put pressure on yourself. Take it slow, get to learn, take time to get to know yourself, and don't be pressured by outside forces. It's your life. God has given you this life. I always say that this is my belief that my life is like a movie. God gives me a script and says, "Here, go and this is the life I'm giving you."